Tucker Carlson's got sort of a new bit, and that bit is a bit of insanity. He's been kind of losing it on his program, and this happened again last night. Take a look at this.
He represents the state of California. He's incredibly smart. He went to Stanford and Georgetown. So when Ted Lieu speaks, you're really seeing the Democratic Party's brain trust on display. And with that in mind, we wanted to bring you one of his recent pronouncements. This is a tweet, and it's in response to one of his colleagues, the Congressman Scott Perry. Now, Perry was making an argument we have often made because it's true, and that is that Democrats are using mass immigration to transform the country, to change who votes so they can control who wins. Ted Lieu was very annoyed that Scott Perry said this, and so he sent the following tweet, and he was clearly enraged as he did. Quote, "Dear Scott Perry, native-born Americans like you are no more American and no less American than an immigrant like me." Good point. We agree with that. And then he said this, "And with every passing year, there will be more people who look like me in the United States. You can't stop it. So take your racist replacement theory and shove it. In other words, you're being replaced and there's nothing you can do about it. So shut up." Luckily, with people like Ted Lieu in charge, they're not going to get a lot done. Guy's a moron.
Okay, the bit at the end was also very weird. That delivery was weird, but that laugh, like imagine if you were on an elevator with someone and they laughed like that. I would be like hitting buttons. I don't care if I had to crawl out. That was bizarre.
Yeah, it's like a demented Joker cackle. I feel like he's about, like this is his like villain origin story where he becomes the ultimate form of himself, like a super villain, right? Like that cackle, that is terrifying.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I don't know, if there was something about you, personality or a weird lack of emotional intelligence that you would occasionally, with no appropriate context, just let out a witchy cackle like that, wouldn't you do it like more? Like he just started doing it 2 days ago, then he did it yesterday. So we're sort of forced to compare it to what we know of him normally, which is his like base emotional state is, that's it, like no emotion, let alone some bizarre like burst of emotion like that. I don't know what explains it. I know Ted Lieu has a theory. He just says that's a maniacal laugh. Like it's pretty insane. That tweet by Ted Lieu, which we can bring up, probably will result in Tucker Carlson losing it again once again. But I don't know if it's like Tucker Carlson having to do the performative racist stuff every night. Maybe the Republicans being out of power. Maybe it's just getting to him. I don't know, but that was not a good look. And the last look. Yeah, I don't like it. Now, Ted Lieu had a perfectly fine point, which is immigrants are not only as American, but generally because of the insane standards we have for the tests that you have to take to get citizenship and all that, often know more about America than native-born Americans. They're Americans, and them being here, them working here, them marrying here, them voting here is not some replacement. It literally isn't replacement, because generally, as a rule, when an immigrant comes in, we don't boot some Italian guy over the border. That's not how it works. It's at worst extra people, not replacing people. But Tucker Carlson, who by the way, last week or 2 weeks ago has said multiple times, I'm not actually spreading replacement theory. And Fox defended him after pushing replacement theory, saying it's not replacement theory. He sure seems to get sensitive when you say that it's replacement theory. Why is he so defensive if he's not about that?
Yeah, for someone who says that he is not trying to spread replacement theory, it's interesting that white nationalist sites like Vidare were so excited that he was talking about this. They said things like, "Oh, one of the best things that Fox News has ever aired," and they praised it by saying that it was like full of their talking points, like their white nationalist talking points. And so if Tucker Carlson is not actually trying to spread white replacement theory, people who are really into white replacement theory sure like what he has to say.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And you know what? You can't always be held super responsible for who likes your stuff in theory. But when you keep doubling down on the thing that brings in white supremacist viewers, we get to judge you. That's what we do. Yeah, like they say, when someone tells you who they are, listen. And he's been telling his audience who he is, and that's why the audience is there.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.